So let's begin to discuss change management, or preparing the people for the new system. Change management mostly deals with helping the people who will use the new system, that is, helping them to adopt and to adapt to the new system. There are at least three key roles in change management: the sponsor, who is generally a senior manager and the business person who initiated the request for the new system; the change agent, who is the person or persons who lead the change; and the potential adopters, who are the people who must change, who must use the system. The sponsor is the person who wants to change, usually a senior manager of the part of the organization that must use the new system. It's critically important that the sponsor be involved in the change process. The change agent is the person or persons leading the change effort. The change agent is usually someone outside of the business unit adopting the system and therefore has no direct management authority over the potential adopters. Thus, he or she has less credibility than do the sponsor and other members of the business unit. Once the system has been installed, the change agent usually leaves and thus has no ongoing impact. The third role is that of potential adopter or target of the change. These are the people for whom the new system is designed and who will ultimately choose to use or not to use the system. It's critically important to understand resistance to change. Why do people consider the opposite? Why do people accept change? Simply put, every change has a set of costs and benefits associated with it. If the benefits of accepting the change outweigh the costs of the change, then people will change. But there is uncertainty as to whether a certain benefit or cost will actually occur. Furthermore, it has been shown that most humans tend to overestimate the probability of costs and to underestimate the probability of benefits. So, generally, people will not resist change if they see that there's something in it for them, something good in it for them. And you can quantify this, or try to, as the cost and the benefits. Now, there is the reality and there is the perception. And the perception is more important. And we can divide this up into so-called restraining factors and enabling factors, where the restraining factors generally are the cost times the perceived probability of the costs occurring, and the enabling factors are the benefits, the good things that come from the transition or the new system, again, weighted by the certainty of the benefits occurring. So, the first step in change management is to understand the factors that inhibit change, the factors that affect the perception of costs and benefits, and the uncertainty that they will be generated by the new system. In this vein, it is critical to understand that the real costs and benefits are far less important than the perceived costs and benefits. People act on what they believe to be true rather than on what is true. The perception is the reality. Now, just putting the system in place is not sufficient for a successful adoption of the system. A new computer system will not be successfully adopted unless management policies support its adoption. Management policies provide the goals, define how work processes should be performed, and determine how organizational members are rewarded. So-called SOPs are standard operating procedures. They are both formal and informal habitual routines for how work is performed. What does it mean to be successful or to do good work? Well, this is usually determined by defining measurements and rewards that help people understand this. Measurement provides clear and concrete evidence about what is important to the organization. Rewards, on the other hand, reinforce measurements because what gets measured gets done. Managers can have a clear and immediate impact on behavior also by allocating resources, both in terms of the direct effect and in terms of the symbolic effect. The direct effect, of course, of allocating resources comes from the actual allocation of the resources, whereas the symbolic effect shows that management is serious about its intentions by allocating the resources in the first place. To have a successful adoption, there has to be change management planning. There has to be strategies to motivate the adoption. And often these strategies are used together. The strategies are to provide a clear and convincing evidence of the need for change. Informational strategies are targeted towards persuading potential adopters that the benefits outweigh the costs. You can use memos, presentations, other communication approaches. Often it's most effective to stress the reduction of problems than the creation of opportunities. Political strategies are not controlled by the project team. They are used when the group wanting the change, that is management, has organizational power over those who will make the change. Often our only choice when perceived costs are higher than perceived benefits. It may be coercive or negotiated, that is, you tie some reward to the change. Reluctant adopters are apathetic and tend to go with the flow. Enlisting the ready adopters and garnering their enthusiasm can strongly influence the reluctant adopters to go with the change. Resistant adopters often cannot be influenced, so focus change management plans on the groups that we can successfully influence.